Hey, Right Riders, Keith Wheeler here, back with another video for you. As you may know, I love self-publishing puzzle books. We've talked about crossword puzzles, word search puzzles, sudoku puzzles, cryptograms, Hashiwokakeros. Well, you get the idea. That said, I'm always on the lookout for new puzzle types to offer to my customers, especially if they're quick and easy to create. So when my buddy Ike Paz reached out to me and said that he was launching a generator that created calcuDoku puzzles fast and easy, well, I had to try it out. So as always, I'm going to share my screen with you, walk you through a demo of this generator, as well as tell you exactly what you get if you decide to buy it. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get started.
Here's coffee, Pop.
Thank you, sweetie. Let me first start off by telling you that if you get Brain Game Prints is actually something you're going to download onto your computer. So it's not like a website. So the good thing is you don't necessarily need an internet connection in order to use it, which I consider a plus, but I could see for some people that could be a negative. So I went online, I got it, I downloaded it, and it's run right here. And the first thing you're going to see is the Brain Game Prints logo, and there's a little about, there's an email support if you need it. It's going to ask you for your license if you don't already have one. So you'll put that in there. But anyway, and there are great how-to videos which make things very easy to understand, and they're not super long. So you're going to choose an option. So right now I am on the calcuDoku generator, which is a Sudoku, but a little bit better. So I'm just going to click on OK. So let me just walk you through what you get with calcuDoku and what it actually does. So over here, you've got your little preview mode, which is going to show you what you're creating. And so we're just going to go down the list. So right now we've got the grid size. And so I can click on this drop down, and there's a question mark if you want to learn more. And you can just pick which size you want to do. A lot of it's going to depend on the complexity of the book that you're trying to create. So if you're doing it for kids, you're going to make it smaller. If you're doing it for adults, you're going to want to make it larger. So let's just go with a 9x9. And then over here, we decide on what kind of operation we're going to use. We've got question mark, which we'll talk about in a second, but we've got addition, subtraction, and then we can do addition or subtraction. So which means that the puzzle, it'll be, some might have addition, some might have subtractions in it. And then we've got multiplication, division, and then you can do a combination of all those. And the question mark means it doesn't tell the person, and I'll show you in a second, but it doesn't tell the user what operation was used to come to that total. And so it makes it even more complicated. Now, I will say that with the front end offer, you get access to the addition and subtraction. When you get to the next offer, the Pro, that will add in the question mark as well as the multiplication division. I'm going to click generate, or I'm going to click update preview real quick, just so you can see what we're talking about. Okay, so this is what a calcuDoku looks like. Here, we're going to click on it, make it a little bit bigger. So as you can see, it's got boxes like a regular Sudoku, but then it has these groups, also called cages. And the way they're grouped, like for example, you've got a 9, 8, and 9. This is obviously the answer. So the puzzle is going to be it's going to have blank. It's not going to have any of the numbers in it, but it will have the total up here. So this totals up to 648, and they used multiplication. This, the 8 and the 7, by using subtraction, which is right here, the answer is 1. And so the actual puzzle would just have a 1 and then the minus sign, and these two would be blank, and they'd have to find what number goes in there, what two numbers go in there that have a difference of 1. Again, these three would be blank, but then it would say they used multiplication to get to 648. And so it has a lot of the same rules that Sudoku has. So in this case, it's got 9 numbers, 1 through 9, cannot be repeated, but it can't be repeated across or down. And so it already has those answers in there. So as people are creating it, as they start filling these in, they'll start getting, things will make more sense to them. And okay, well, I know this can't be an 8 or 9 because I already used those and things like that. So as you can see in the one I did, I used multiple operands. So, we've got multiplication, subtraction, addition, and there's probably a division in here somewhere. Right here, division. So this one obviously is going to be more complicated, but I'm going to close that. we can go over here and we can just make it so it's just addition. And I can update the preview. And as you can see, now it's all using addition. And obviously it's got the numbers for the actual answer. So let's go through more of the setting it up and the options that you have. So like I said, we have the grid size. You choose the operation. Again, if you have any questions, you can click on the question mark right here and it will give you more information. Again, if I change that plus sign to plus or minus, then the puzzle would have, it could have plus or minus as options. And if I did the question mark, it would only show the value. It would not show how they got to it. And again, that makes it more complicated. Okay, so down here, we can set maximum total. So let's say, I'm doing this for kids, so I don't want the total to go above 100. So I'll click on this box and I'll set the total to 100. Maybe I'll set it to 50 or whatever. What number do you want it to start with? Default is going to start with to 1, where the numbers are going to start with 1, but in the pro version, which is the next, it's the first upsell, you have this option you can even set negatives. So maybe you want it to start at -1. So you have those options that you can use. Again, making your book more complicated, making it more difficult for adults or just more advanced people. Okay, so the next one is how many puzzles do you want to generate? So when you're creating this, you don't have to just create one puzzle. You can create a whole book's worth of puzzles. So with this, I can, as you can see, the default is 50, but I can change this to 1 if I want only 1. I can change it to 100, whatever. And again, it allows me to create more and save me time. So I'm just going to leave the default of 50. Next, I can give the puzzle file a name. So I'm going to do these as PB for puzzle book. And then I can give the solution files a name. Let's do SL for solutions. If you don't put anything, it's going to default to puzzle and solution. So when you create them, if you create multiples, then it's going to be, puzzle _1, solution _1, and so on. With this, it's going to be PB _1 _2 and solutions will be SL. You start the sequence number it's going to default to 0. Let's say I want to start at 1. So in the example I gave below, if I left that at 0, then it would actually be PB _0 SL _0 for the puzzle book file and the solution file. They'd start at 0 and then move on. I want mine to start at 1. It just makes it easier for me. But again, you have that flexibility. So if you don't have a title, and these are for the puzzle titles and solution titles, it won't say anything. But let's say I want to say something like fun puzzle and then fun solution. Okay. Now we can decide what format we want to export it in. So you can do a PNG or a JPEG or an SVG. Those are the defaults. PNG and JPEG are basically image files. If you pick those, then you're going to decide what size you want the file to be. So if I want to do PNG, let's say I want it to be 4,000 by 4,000. Okay. Same thing for JPEG. SVG, you don't actually have this option because SVG is a vector image, and so the size doesn't matter. It's not gonna be distorted in any way. But not everybody has access to a vector image viewer, and so they have the availability of using a PNG or a JPEG. Now, if you get the Pro version, you can get the option to do a PDF. Which gives you some more options down here, or a PPTX, which is a PowerPoint file, which means you download that and you can go in and make adjustments as opposed to just a PNG file. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the PNG for now. Again, we've got our sizes, and then we tell it where to send the files to. So if I go in here, I'm going to just browse to where I want my puzzles to go and browse to where I want my solutions to go. All right, so I've created a puzzles folder. So I want my puzzles to go in the puzzles folder, and I want my solutions, shocker, to go to the solutions folder. Now, if you're creating a large number of these, maybe you're doing 500 or whatever, and it's the last thing you're going to do for the day, and maybe you just want to kind of set it and forget it, there's actually an option to shut down your computer after you're done. So you can let it run, and then walk away for the night. And once it's done creating it, it will shut down your computer. Now, if you choose to do that, remember to make sure that everything else on your computer is all saved and everything else. So that way you don't end up coming back the next day and you've lost something else that you were working on. So I usually don't use that just because I'm always have something open, but it's definitely an option. So I'm going to head on over to here and show you some of these other options. These are options that are specific to the puzzle. So first, let me update the preview because we made some changes. Okay, there we go. Now, some of our options that we have over here are, first of all, the basic settings, or do we want advanced settings? So for our basic settings, we'll go back here, and it's basically the font type. So we can go through this drop down and pick font types. And then we can adjust the colors of the grids and as well as the numbers. So the grid is the overall lines. Here, let me make this bigger. So these thinner lines are your grid lines. These darker lines are the group lines or cage lines. And so we can change those colors. We just go in here and do that. Over here, we can select the operation color. So the color over here, so this 20 plus, I can change that to red if I want. Again, obviously, if you're creating a colored book, then your price is going to go up as far as how much it costs to produce it. But again, it's something that will make your book stand out over others. So it's a choice you have to make. And then I can also change the colors of the numbers. So let's just show you what that would look like. So let me go in here and I'm going to change the color of the grids to, let's say we'll change it to this gray. Okay, click OK. We're going to leave the grouping boxes dark black. Let's say with the operand colors, we want to change to red, and the numbers will change to blue. Again, it's not going to look great, but I just want to show you how everything changes. So we're going to click update and see how everything has changed. So we've got the numbers have changed to the blue, the operand and the total have changed to the red, the grid lines have changed to this lighter gray, and then of course the cage lines have stayed this dark black. So again, really helps things stand out. You can really have a lot of flexibility with that. All right, so I'm going to show you some of the advanced settings real quick. And the advanced settings are more like helping you tweak things. So especially if you start getting to some bigger numbers, remember we've got mine set to where the maximum total is going to be 100. And so we have a lot, we don't have super long numbers like we did earlier. But if we wanted to, we can adjust the alignment, the vertical alignment or horizontal alignment of the numbers. So where they sit in the box. Let's say that this number right here was maybe going down into here a little bit more, maybe it was longer than we'd like. Then I could just change the vertical alignment a little bit. And as you can see, it dropped it down. Obviously, I dropped it down way too far, so we'd have to tweak that. But again, it's flexibility that you have. So I'm going to put that back up. Again, you can do the same thing with the horizontal. We can actually change the font size of the numbers. So, you know, before when we're on basic, we can just change the font type, so Arial. But you can actually change the font size, both of the total as well as the font size of the number. And you can really dial that in between the font type, font size, vertical and horizontal alignment, really tweak those in. But I think the default looks pretty good the way it starts out anyway. But again, flexibility that you have. Now, let's say that you want to create a puzzle and you want it to be different. You want it to stand out. Maybe you want it to be super themed, okay? What you can do is you can actually click on this box and change the operation. So instead of for addition, it being a plus sign, you could just make it could be the word plus, okay? Or some other words. So for minus, we would do, we'll just call it sub for subtraction. Multiplication, we'll say times. And division, we'll say divide. And for question mark, maybe we'll make that an exclamation point. You know, again, something, whatever we want, whatever we want to do. And as you can see, now it says 24 plus. Now, of course, this one, I've got it set where everything is addition still. But it would, where it says plus, it would say minus. If it was a minus sign, it would say, or it would say sub for subtraction, whatever I put in there. And again, especially the creativity that comes with this, because if you want it to be themed, You could put symbols in there using webdings or wingdings if you want as a type. So again, a lot of flexibility, a lot of ability to make it, to customize it for your book. Similarly, you can actually change the numbers. So you can replace the regular numbers with Roman numerals if you want to do that. So we click on this and it'll change them into Roman numerals. Or I can select this box and I can actually replace the numbers 0 through 9 with, again, symbols. You know, especially if you're doing a book maybe that is, you know, maybe the whole thing is supposed to be more mystery related. So, you know, you can use, again, wingdings or other kinds of symbols to put in here to replace the numbers. Again, probably not something you're going to want to use a lot, but if it's, you know, it's ability that you have to customize it for your particular book. So personally, I would just leave them as is. I'm actually going to go back and change these operands back to what they normally are, what the defaults are. Now I also could just deselect this right here and it would make them go back to what they were anyway. So again, those are the option. We can, again, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change it. So instead of it being just addition, let's say it's going to be everything. Again, reminder that the multiplication, division, and question mark are things that are available in the Pro version, which is the first upsell. Let's see. I also want to show you real quick, what if you know, speaking of the Pro, if you get a PDF. So if I go to PDF, there's more options here. So I can choose the trim size of my book, because again, it's going to create the book for me. And again, there are basic settings and advanced settings as well. So I can do the trim size. So let's say I wanted to do a 6x9. I can set my margins. So right here, I can set my top margin, my left margin, my gutter. The gutter is the part of your page where the spine is. And so, you know, if it's the right-hand page, the gutter will be on the left. If it's a left-hand page, gutter's on the right. Doing this, you don't have to think about that. It's already set. You literally just set your gutter and what you want it to be. How many puzzles per page? Typically, I would do 1, but how many solutions per page? I would typically probably do 4. Then now it's going to ask me where I want to save it, just like it did with the, if I was doing JPEG. So I will click over here and I will tell it to save it in that main folder right here. This is my calcuDoku book 1, and tell it to save there. So some of the advanced settings, you've got the book dimensions, but now actually separated by inches. So broken up into a 6x9. So let's say you're making custom sized, then you can do it this way if it wasn't one of those in the drop down. Again, you still have the margins, but then you also have spacing. So you've got the horizontal spacing and the vertical spacing. Everything else is pretty much the same as it was before. And so when you're all ready, you know, everything looks over here like you want it. You got everything set up. You've got the number of pages you're going to do. Then you literally just click generate, and I'll show you what these files look like. Okay, so here we are. Now that we've downloaded everything, we've generated it. So here is the first puzzle, PB1, like you see PB_1. And this is the puzzle. And then the solution is right here. Okay, again, I just kept everything the default, but again, you can change font sizes, font types. As you can see, I changed the naming to Keith's Solution as the actual title, Keith's Puzzle as the title of this one. So again, you can change your puzzle numbers. So many softwares that I found either don't put a title on them, or they just say puzzle 1, puzzle 2. It's nice that you can go in and customize it. So depending on the name of your book or whatever, or the name of the section, you can change the puzzle names. Again, the puzzle and the solution. So that's the PNGs. JPEGs are the same. And then let me show you what the PDF file looks like. Okay, so here's a PDF file. Again, Keith's Puzzle 1, Keith's Puzzle 2. And as you can see, it's 63 pages because it's going to have all the puzzles. And then in the end, it's going to have 4 solutions per page because that's what I selected. So there we go. So that's what the PDF looks like. So if you decide to get the front end offer, you get the options for the operands of addition and subtraction, and the combination of the two. Also, when it comes to the outputs, you can do JPEG, PNG, SVG. You can do PDF files, which are limited to a maximum of 99 PDFs exported. If you decide to get the first upgrade, you get additional puzzle types. You get the multiplication, the division, and the combination of all four operands, as well as the question mark. You get the option of being able to set the starting number, again, even including starting at negative numbers. You can do that, again, making things more complicated. You get unlimited amount of PDFs that you want to download, so you can download an entire book's worth, all right there in your PDF, all inside the system, and you're not limited to the 99. You can actually get the PPTX, so the PowerPoint file, so you can get that, and then maybe if you want to merge other puzzle types with it, you can do that. You also get access to two bonus puzzle creators. One is called Akari. I'm going to show you that very briefly, just what it looks like. So again, from this drop down, instead of me picking the calcuDoku, I'm going to click in here and I'm going to do the Akari. Okay, so over here I can just say, how many puzzles I want to generate. I can generate the puzzles. I can adjust the grid size I want, the difficulty level. I can change some graphic options here. So again, very similar. The layout is a little bit different than with calcuDoku's, but again, you can pick the font type, font color. So we have all this, and that's the Akari, and then what they call a jigsaw Sudoku. We'll click in here. We'll pick the Sudoku generator, click OK. It's going to look very similar. Let's just generate what we've got. So again, just a Sudoku puzzle generators. So again, you get those additional puzzle creation types if you get the upgrade to the first upsell, which is the Pro. If you decide that you want to go to the next level is upgrade 2, and that's a course on penny ads. Personally, I've not started working with penny ads, so I don't have much advice when it comes to that. So you can actually learn about something that I haven't even delved into if you do that. And then the third upgrade is if you don't want to mess with book covers, they actually have access to done for you Brain Game print book covers. Well, there you go. That's Brain Game prints. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can head on over to kwheelerbooks.com/BGP. Now, speaking of puzzle books, did you know that you can actually win book awards for puzzle books and activity books? I didn't believe it either, but I actually won one. It actually started out as a challenge that I gave to Hannah and Jay at Book Award Pro. Check out this video right here and see for yourself. Now, if you've already seen that video, or maybe you're not quite ready for that yet, YouTube says that this video right here is perfect for you. So I'll catch you inside one of these videos, and remember to write right.